name's Richard Francis Jones. I'm the design director of FJMT, Francis Jones Moorhen Thorpe, architectural practice based in Australia. We have offices in Sydney, Melbourne, and just starting in the UK. And we're a practice that has really come out of doing public work, doing public community educational work. And so our work's in a way grown from the public to the private. Architecture for me is something in a way deeply personal and also deeply public. Certainly I think that one of the things that characterises our art is its publicness, is the fact that we work in teams, we work with communities, that our work is so shared and ultimately belongs to everybody. And at the same time it's deeply personal because you give so much to these projects. You give so much to these projects. I think today perhaps one of the greatest challenges for us is the globalised environment in which we work, and is how to deal with, on the one extent, this incredible globalisation, our industry being so globalised, our profession being so globalised, and on the other hand, a real desire to make place specific, to understand what it is that's special about where we are and who we are, our culture, our place, this place where we're putting this project. The role of the architect in society, is an evolving question. I think in a way we reflect and represent the values of a society, the values of the culture that we're a part of. And whether you're conscious of that or not, that is what you are doing. I think what an architect should do is perform that reflection in a very thoughtful and potentially critical way, so that in a sense we're mirroring to society its values and its challenges, but at the same time providing a kind of potential insight to where things could go, a kind of promise in a way of how things could evolve. A great challenge for us, I think, is the way in which the true public domain is diminished and is overcome by the private. The way in which retail activity dominates so much of our shared lives. Shopping seems to be such a focus, if you like. The shopping centre subsumes our cities, absorbs our lives. And I think this is a great challenge for public space making and for architecture, is to find an expression of something which goes deeper than consumption, deeper than the imaging, if you like, or the branding of certain endeavours, something that actually goes much closer to what we might think of as identity, where we're from, what we share with people, rather than what we buy and what we have. The Aukland Gallery was a very challenging project. Went on for many, many years. It was a very important project to the city of Auckland and to New Zealand as a whole. And being the gallery, it also had, in a way, a very central role in the interpretation of culture. And New Zealand is an evolving culture. It now has a very strong biculturalism that includes Maori and Pacific, as well as European settlers. So we were looking for a project that could represent and reflect this very great strength in New Zealand culture. And we developed a building then that had this relationship with the colonial building, but represented a very different idea. It was very transparent, it was very light. In a sense, it had no conceptual walls, even though it was an art gallery. And it drew its inspiration from the organic forms of nature, from the park that it was adjacent to. And the way in which it's implemented drew on the tradition of great boat building and craft that characterises New Zealand and Auckland. And the tree elements of the gallery were made from native kauri, one of the most beautiful timbers in the world. A very special timber, instantly recognisable to many Maori and European settled New Zealanders. The growth of an architectural studio is a challenge for anyone who works in a studio, and I believe that it needs to be founded on a strong culture, the strong shared values among your collaborators. I've always personally enjoyed working in a collaborative manner, working with people. I draw inspiration from my collaborators and the great team that we have. So our studio has grown steadily and I think in a very solid manner because we have a great foundation, a great shared values that the team share. It's also, I think, a great group of people and we enjoy working together, and we work very hard but we really enjoy it.